Hello, everyone. Philip Lee returning with another episode of Civil War Chat. And today is the 13th of January, 2022. It is a Thursday. Click on the subscribe button here in the lower right if you'd like to subscribe, and also the notification bell in the far upper right so that you'll be notified when there are new episodes released. Today's topic is Republicans belatedly value tradition. So let me go ahead and get my notes up and we'll start that. Now, Democrats are shamelessly pushing for changing Senate rules to eliminate the filibuster so they can spread careless voting standards to all 50 states. Now that that's happening, Republicans are belatedly realizing the value of tradition. None of this would likely have happened if the Republicans in name only, the RINOs, had defended Southern heritage 7 years ago to stop the mass removal, defacement, and defamation of Confederate symbols. There was plenty of room for compromise. Confederate statues, for example, could have remained in place while permitting new statues for historical civil rights and minority heroes and heroines to be erected. Yet Republicans offered no compromises, and Democrats were just set on trampling Southern heritage underfoot altogether. For generations, Confederates like Robert E. Lee were American heroes. Many set conduct standards that shame today's military brass. Lee, for example, took responsibility for his failures. When defeated at Gettysburg, he rode out to meet the men of Pickett's charge who had failed to break the Union battle line on the third and final day of the battle. There, before soldiers of every rank, he expressed sentiments such as, "I alone am to blame. Nobody is to blame but me." A month later, after he got his army back into Virginia, he offered his personal resignation to President Jefferson Davis, who turned it down. He praised the performance of his army, took total blame for the failure on himself. Davis refused to accept his resignation. Lee's conduct contrasts with the refusals of Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, who refused to take any blame for the Afghanistan debacle, or even admit that it was a debacle. Although both should resign, the only thing they have done was cashier Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller, who publicly spoke out against their weak leadership. Cowardly leadership, maybe could be said. After men like Milley and Austin have promoted woke ideologies and they also promoted a deliberate effort to minimize Southern recruits. The Army recently announced that it is offering bonuses of up to $50,000 for veterans who will commit to another 6 years of service. Before the woke agenda, 44% of the military services people were composed of Southerners, whereas the region represented only 36% of America's population. Thus, when the top brass resolves to reduce the proportion of Southern soldiers, there should be no surprise that they have a hard time filling their ranks. The problem is only amplified by the corruption that a woke agenda provides to a meritocracy. Southern traditionalists no longer need to beg RINOs to save our symbols. We can go on the offensive. We can tell them they have helped, that if they had helped defend our heritage, they might not now be faced with a change in Senate norms that could fundamentally transform America. Democrats would make it a centralized autocracy controlled by the cultural elite. Our founders never intended that the voting rights of every state are to be dictated from Washington. In fact, it was never intended that the country be controlled from Washington in most any respect. Now we can tell the RINOs, you have created this mess. You thought you could throw Southern heritage under the bus without consequences to your traditions. If you had listened to our explanations, you would have understood the noble side of the symbols you sacrificed to a mob psychology. The symbols represented a tradition that you did not bother to fully learn. Now, one of your traditions is threatened, and you squeal like a warthog under attack by a pride of lions. If you are afraid for America, well, you should be. It's your own darned fault. I'd like also now to share something here on my screen. This is my book, The Confederate Causes of the Civil War. It's $22 at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and $25 if you'd like to buy a personal copy from me that's autographed. Just get in touch with me if you'd like to do that. But the reason I'm mentioning this now is I often forget to mention, we have an audio version of this book available, Causes of the Civil War by Philip Lee. So if you like to have it read to you in the car or read to you through your iPhone while you're working out or something like that, you can do that. Just get Causes of the Civil War audio version. It's an Audible version that you can get at Amazon. So let me just encourage you to do that if that's of interest to you. Okay. That is our show for today, Thursday, the 13th of January, 2022. Look forward to seeing you next time.